Hey everybody. Thank you for joining me. So I had two revelations the last couple of days that I want to share with you. And in order to make you understand why it holds such significance in my life, I got to kind of go back and peel away a few of the layers of my life and share with you my background. Because our background and our journey is what leads us to where we are. And as we all have lots of layers to our lives, but you normally only see or know about the first couple of layers. It's always on the surface that we know people. But I'm gonna dig deep, and I'm gonna give you guys some insight into my past and sort of how I got to where I am right now, which is an executive with LimeLight by Alcone. A lot of you may not realize this, but I was a very young mother. I had my daughter when I was extremely young. And thank God I had wonderful parents that supported me and helped me out. But because I was such a young mother, I did not have the typical teenage upbringing and experiences, I guess, the typical teenage experiences. And because of my daughter being so young, I did not get to go to college. I didn't get that education, and I didn't get the degree that all my friends were getting. I was very busy raising my daughter, and with my parents' help. And so that kind of cut short my aspirations and dreams of anything I wanted to do, what I had in my head of what I wanted to do. And so I had to look for something different to do because I didn't want to work at Arby's forever, And so I took the Postal Service exam, the written exam, and decided if I'm going to get a job, it's going to have to be a different kind of job. It's not going to be one that has anything to do with a degree because I didn't have a degree. And so I took that written exam and I got hired on at the post office. And I was so excited because, it's a government job. And I thought, I'm going to be with the post office for the rest of my life. I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to retire. I've got great benefits. And so that was the moment in my life where I was able to move out of my parents' home, and I was able to support my daughter and myself. And so that is what I did. So from the age of 19 on, I have been fully supporting myself and my daughter. And so I did that, but I worked the graveyard shift. If you guys know anything about that, it is tough. I worked nights at the post office in Nashville, so I had to drive into Nashville, and I had to go in at 10:30 at night. I ate my dinner at 2 o'clock in the morning, mostly at the Waffle House, and got off at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so that was my routine for 5 years, and that is a tough life. It's no quality of life, that's for sure. When you work nights, you're turned around. It's just not the norm, right? It's just not the way we do things. And so to work during the night and sleep during the day, you just always felt like crap. And I did it for 5 years. Now, I will say that I didn't miss out on moments with my daughter. I missed out on sleep because I'd get off in the mornings, and if she had, a party at school or something like that, I was there for her. So I missed out on a lot of sleep, but at least I was able to be there because it was during the day and I worked nights. So I did that, but I was so exhausted and I knew there had to be a better way. And so just like in corporate America, just like with your day job, you're at a job you don't love, you start looking for something else. You start looking for something that's better for your family, better for your everything. Better pay, maybe a better commute, maybe no commute. And so I started looking for that, and I found a job at the Postal Service working days instead of working nights. And I jumped on it because that way I was at that time traveling an hour from where I lived. So this new job was during the day. I could sleep in my bed at nights. It was amazing. It was right around the corner from my house. It was right around the corner from my daughter's school. It was a very relaxed environment. I had an amazing boss, and it was relatively flexible, so I could get off during the day sometimes. I took a little pay cut because when you work nights, they pay you more because they know that they're really screwing up with your head when you're working nights. So there was that. And so I did that for 5 years. So here I was making a very good, very decent living without a college diploma, without having had to go to college to get a degree. I found a way to support my daughter and myself without going through the traditional route. And, that's a lot of people, they are able to think outside the box like that. It's not always the way you're taught. It's not always about, going to college and finding that job and getting your career. And it's not always about marrying that perfect person and having that white house, with the white picket fence. That's not always life. And so you got to figure out what works for you and what works for you. And so after 10 years of being with the Postal Service, as happens, my marriage fell apart. And I moved back to Hendersonville and was commuting the opposite way, but I was still at the post office. And then I met my husband, and my husband he's an orthopedic surgeon. A lot of you guys know that. Perfectly capable of supporting our family. And so before we got married, we just had this long talk about how life would look if we did get married. And he brought into our marriage 3 kids. So I have 3 bonus children and then my daughter. And he was a very hard worker, and my bonus children's mom was also a very hard worker. And we decided that I would quit my job at the post office to stay home and take care of the kids because they were super busy, and this would give me an opportunity to be home for the children and be there for all of these important things in their lives. And that was exciting to me because I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna actually get to shop Black Friday because I've never done that. You can't do that when you're working at the post office. You can't. And so I was excited. I'm going to get to shop Black Friday, and I'll get to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was born to be a mom. I love being a mother. I love everything about it. And I wanted to be there for my kids. And so I was really excited, but I was also really nervous because that's a 10-year career. I thought I was going to have a really good retirement. What if this marriage doesn't work out? Things go through your mind. As an adult, you think things through. And so all these things are going through my head, but ultimately that was the decision that we made, and that's what I did. I did one Black Friday and never again. I will never again do another Black Friday, but that's aside from the point. So, interesting side note, 4 years into my marriage, the weekend my daughter graduated high school, I got pregnant with her brother. So I put 19 years between my 2 birth children, and loved being a stay-at-home mom, wearing lots and lots of hats, the wife hat, the mom hat, the daughter hat. I worked at my husband's office, that hat, so many hats. But sometimes you feel like you want to have a little something for yourself. You kind of want to wear your own hat, and have something for yourself, and because you're always giving so much to others. And so when my son was 8 months old, I was introduced to my first direct marketing company. And I didn't know anything about direct marketing. I didn't realize that it was there. I mean, I'd heard of Avon and I'd heard of Mary Kay, and I just thought those were ladies who had all this time on their hands. I was ignorant and didn't know. And they were just doing parties at people's houses and things like that. I had no clue. And so I was introduced to it, and I was really surprised. I thought, oh my God, this is thinking outside the box. And I kind of have had to do that my whole life because it's been a little bit different. It's not been that typical, traditional, go to school, get your degree, get your job, get married. I just didn't have that kind of life. And so I delved into that, and it was a lot of fun. And what I found was, what a smart business plan. Oh my God, such a smart business plan. With direct marketing, you own your own business, but you don't have any of the overhead. You don't have any of the risks. that are involved. You don't have, it's not an investment, and yet you can make a lot of money. And so I kind of worked that one for a little bit, but I found that it really wasn't for me. And just like in the corporate world, you got to find what works for you. If one job doesn't work, you have to look for something else until you find your right fit. And so I dabbled a little bit with different companies over the years, and until I found LimeLight. And so when I found LimeLight, that's when I added another hat, another layer to my life. And it's called the LimeLight Lori layer. LimeLight Lori layer. And so a year and a half ago, I discovered this company, and everything about it fit with my lifestyle. Everything. It was better pay, better perks, better products, better everything than anything I'd ever represented. And I was so happy. So this is where my revelation comes into play. Lots of people have different reasons for joining companies, and it could be anywhere from finances to wanting to find friends, just wanting something for yourself, wanting to put your daughter through ballet school, wanting to put your son through soccer practice. It could be anything. People do it for all different reasons. And people looked at me and were like, why is she doing this business when her husband's a surgeon? Well, that's my husband's thing. That's not my thing. It's not my dream to be an orthopedic surgeon. He supported his family perfectly fine. That was his thing. I was looking for my thing. That's why I was doing it. And the money had nothing to do with it. Definitely we didn't need the money. But it sure is a nice bonus. Sure is a nice perk to the job that I'm doing. So here I am a year and a half later, and I have created this incredible business with over 100 women on my team, and we love each other, and we are family, and we support each other, and we are there for one another, and we are there for so much more than LimeLight. Like, we know each other's families, and we pray for each other, and we are a company of collaboration and not competition. And I absolutely love it. I love it. And I love that it's not a traditional job, and that I, as a stay-at-home mom, can work my business full-time and be there for my team of women who have full-time jobs and work their business along the side of their full-time job. We have lawyers, we have nurses, we have school teachers, we have a truck driver. We have all kinds of women and men on our team with day jobs. They work their LimeLight business right alongside. And as some of the ladies in LimeLight have already done, eventually they will replace their income and they will be able to quit those jobs, because that's what this company can do for you. My revelation. My biggest why, and the reason I wanted to do this, was because my husband works his butt off, and because I wanted to be able to contribute somehow. I wanted to be able to help him and contribute to the family finances. There's part of his job that he hates. He loves being a surgeon, but the part of the job he hates that a lot of surgeons and doctors hate is being on call. They don't like it. It's not fun. You have to go, you have to be available. If they call you over a weekend, you might not see your family for the entire weekend, and it's tough. But in the past several years, they started reimbursing the doctors because, my husband went away. He would go on call, and maybe somebody would come in with no insurance, but he still had to operate on them. But he got nothing out of it, no pay whatsoever. And that's the way it was for years. Now the hospitals are paying X amount of money. Of course, I can't talk figures, but X amount of money, and for these doctors to be on call. And that way, if they do come in, which happens all the time, and they have to work on somebody and they can't get paid for it, then at least that little bit that they've given, or whatever it is, it compensates them, right? So my paycheck with LimeLight after a year and a half last month finally reached that number that would replace that money that he'd be getting for call. So that is step one of my why for LimeLight. If my husband wanted to give up call right now, I have now met that amount that he could. Isn't that amazing? I just realized that the last couple of days. It's just shocking. And then the other thing, now, I'm not saying he's going to quit taking call. I'm just saying that I got to that point, and it only took me a year and a half to do it. Where are you today, and where are you going to be a year and a half from now? Are you going to be in a position that you can replace your income or this amount of money? It ain't $200 or $300 a month, y'all. I'm talking commas in my paycheck here. And then the other thing that I realized is that after a year and a half, I finally am making per month and yearly what I made when I worked at the post office with the government. I have replaced that amount in a year and a half working my job, my little makeup business, because that is what it can do for you. Because you can think outside the box, because you don't have to do things in a traditional way. I don't have the overhead. I don't have to pay employees. I don't have the payroll. I don't have to hire and fire people. I don't keep stock. I'm not paying rent. I don't have any of those expenses. It's all gravy, all of it. And I love what I do, and I finally found my thing. And I'm helping other women do the same thing. I'm helping them find that sweet spot in their life and show them that there is a better way. We work smarter, not harder. And we work for ourselves. Not everybody can work this full time. Lots of my team can't. But they sure as heck can work it part-time until they can reach that point where they can work it full-time. It's happening all the time. It's happening all over LimeLight. This company is amazing. We're not direct sales. We've got over 65 years of experience in the beauty industry. We're just using this model as a way to get this makeup and skincare into the hands of everyone and create thousands of jobs for men and women. And you don't have to have a degree, and you don't have to have a college diploma to do it. Anybody can do it. So if you found yourself in a position where you feel like you have no hope and you can't do anything and you're not going to get a better job and you don't want to work at Burger King anymore and you don't want to work at, whatever anymore, there are options. And LimeLight is a fantastic option. If you have any questions, if you want to know more, just ask me. I don't know if this is for you. It may not be for you, but what the heck if it is? This could be a game changer. It is for a lot of people. So contact me and let me know if you'd like to know more. I would love to tell you more about it. And if you want to check out my website, you can do that, LimeLight by Lori, LORI.com. Or you can get there by going to LimeLight, LORI.com, and just shoot me a message and let me know what you'd like to know about this incredible opportunity. Thank you guys for joining me and sticking with me. I know this was a long live, but I just wanted to tell you why I started LimeLight. And that I have accomplished one of my goals that I set out to accomplish, and I'm extremely excited about it because I know that what my future holds at LimeLight is just like beyond anything. It's beyond what you can imagine. It's just beyond. So it's an amazing opportunity. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I'm gonna let you guys go now, and hopefully we'll talk soon.